Co-Optimus' Monday evening stream here. My name's Locke. I'm here with Jason. Jason and Mike are gonna watch me play a local co-op game. I don't have a partner because I don't have any friends, and my family is asleep.
He's not friends with his spouse. It's a terrible thing.
Yeah. This is Aegis Defenders. It came out late last week, or maybe today.
No, it was February 8th. So yeah,
so last week,
Friday.
Yeah. Friday, yeah. And it is a hybrid game of sorts. I'm gonna hop right in and let Jason sort of take over. You've played on the PS4, correct?
Yeah. So the game's out on PS4 and Nintendo Switch and PC. Locke's on the PC version here. I played it some on the PlayStation 4. And really, there's a lot about it that I like. I really like the story that they're setting up here. I really like some of the characters that they have. It's funny, and I went through and read kind of a couple of reviews, and it seems like people are really divided on the rest of the game. So the levels themselves play out pretty standard. Like every single level thus far that I've encountered has been, here's a part of the level where you're sort of platforming and solving some light puzzles in order to get through, and then at the end there's a base that you have to defend against waves of enemies. And some people are like, oh, the tower defense is awesome and they should have more tower defense. And people are like, no, actually the best part of the game is Metroidvania, the platforming aspects. And I kind of agree with the more platforming side. Like I think the tower defense is actually really interesting, especially as it gets more and more difficult and they add more and more to the game. There's some aspects to it that, like, as I play it solo and then go back and play the same thing with a co-op partner, like, I see how strategies change and things become a little bit different because even though that you have both, or you have all characters that you can control just with one person, the strategies and the dynamics there are a little bit different. Like, you set up one person, so the two characters you have here are Clue and Bart. And Clue's range, she's got a gun and a bow that you can eventually get as well. Bart is the sort of melee-focused, her grandfather, and he's got a hammer that helps repair things, and he also has a shovel that he gets, which straight up has a Shovel Knight upgrade. Like, this is a game with nods and references to a lot of other games from the past, like probably farther back than this, but at least for the past 3 to 4 years that I've seen. And you eventually get more characters beyond that, but like initially these two, just kind of playing with them, like you want to set up defensive areas where you have Bart just standing still, and all his whole job there is like the AI can kind of take control of him briefly to do things like repair towers and block enemies, like to keep them from coming through. So you just have him standing in one place while you're running all over the place with Clue, shooting at stuff and trying to take down enemies directly. Versus if you're playing this game cooperatively in some of the tower defense areas, once Locke gets there, there's some very interesting things that
if I get there.
Yeah. Oh, you'll get there.
Jeez.
I believe in you, Locke.
Yeah. So when he gets there, I can kind of talk about it a little bit more. But some of the tower defense things, like the first few, just to kind of get you warmed up to it, are very straightforward, and then eventually they start doing things where they have platforms that you can only build these structures, like your defensive structures or whatever, on the platforms, and the platforms move up and down between different levels. So you move the platform, you have to move the platform actually up a level in order to build on it, because the bottom level you can't build while it's on the bottom level. So you move up, you build on it, you move it down. And if you have a second player there, eventually when the waves get to the point where you have stuff coming top and bottom, you could have a second player there to be able to shift the platform up and down as the waves go, right? So you have all your defenses, your turrets and stuff like that going back and forth. But as one player, I mean, You could. Oh, so here's the thing you can do. Yeah, so yeah, you can repair those. But as one player, like trying to switch back and forth between them is just way too much to manage at once. So you end up kind of having to pick and choose how you do it. It's clever. Like there's some interesting there's a lot of things with that I think are interesting from a design perspective of how do you make this playable for one person and what's the one person strategy versus having two people local kind of co-op situation. So yeah, when we get there, I can kind of go into that a little bit more. But I'm really digging what I've been playing so far with this, and I really like the art style. There's definitely some nods to like Nausicaa, but not only in the character of Clue, but also in some of the items that you eventually pick up. Yeah. What do you think so far?
Bug monsters are kind of reminiscent of that.
And there's, I mean, like, in there's an evil empire. They're making the bugs go mad. Yeah.
Oh, so this is a sequel to Chrysalis then?
Yeah.
I mean, also could be that. Yeah.
We just talk about this. I love this little ledge jumping animation. Ugh, beauty.
I do like the yeah, that's a good
Oh, jeez.
vault over a wall animation for sure. So I'm I have to watch the stream of this. Is this all pixel art or?
Seems that way, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Yep.
It's hard to tell if it's like heavily filtered or something.
Yeah, I mean, there might be some aspects of it that are. I definitely think the characters themselves, at least, are, and the monsters. It's it's one of those sort of things that you look at and it seems like a little bit of a blending of different styles and aspects. So, here's the one. Oh yeah. Puzzle doors. So they eventually start having these doors where only one player can go through. Yeah, the thing about this is that, like, I kind of hate saying this sometimes with the game. Like, I think there's a game that, like, when you start playing and you get through the first couple of levels, I think that's the game's gonna hook you or it's not, right? Like you're gonna kind of buy into the concept and want to see where it goes, or you're just gonna bounce off hard on it. The really good parts of this game, though, I feel, come later. Like, they come once you get to the part of the game where you have multiple where you have more than just these two characters, where the situations that the tower defense presents you are more involved than just what you've usually seen in a lot of tower defense, kind of enemies are coming from this side and now they're coming from over here. Excuse me.
Over here.
So once you get to that point of it, once it gets a little bit later on, I think it gets really interesting, and I'm very curious to see where it goes, both in terms of just like the game as a whole, but also more importantly, kind of with the story. Like, there's this whole concept that they have here, and they introduce a little bit more of it before every stage. But there's this whole idea that they have where there's what they call the Deathless, and they seem to have a very taken from different gods, pantheon of gods from Eastern and Mid-Eastern religions and cultures, and like they're immortals. So in the game, they're described as immortals who have special powers, and people just start worshiping them because hey, it's immortals, right? And they have abilities far beyond our comprehension and grasp. And so each god then gets their own cult, or each Deathless gets their own cult, and different people worship different Deathless, and some of the Deathless are kind and caring, and others are cruel and demand like warrior kind of people, whatever. And where the story starts to pick up some is when a emperor of a particular nation decides that,
Hold on.
well,
Grandpa.
man should be ruled by man, and we should, worship these
Oh,
immortals.
so it's Bioshock?
Wait.
Well, right. So there's a lot of different influences, right? There's a lot of ideas for where they're trying to go with this. A lot of different influences, and I don't want to go too far into like where the story kind of goes from there, but like it definitely seems there's a like where you're playing right now picks up some years after all of that, and you're kind of, you and your grandfather Clue and her grandfather here are ruin hunters, so they just go out looking for rare artifacts and stuff like that from ages past to sell. There's a merchant who follows you around, and in between each stage there's a camp so you can buy and sell stuff, different upgrades that you can unlock, and some of the one interesting things is some of those upgrades that you get through, I think they're research points, RPs.
I was gonna ask what those were.
So those RPs, you collect them, and you get them in a few different ways. By finding relics in every level, you'll get some, and that's sort of where you get the bulk of those. The other way that you get them is there's dialogue between the characters, and depending on your dialogue choices and what you say, those will reward you with different amounts of research points, anywhere from 1 to 3. So that's kind of an interesting, like one of those cases where I'm like, okay, so I want to say this, but is this actually like the answer that's going to get me the most research points?
Yeah.
Which, is weird, and sometimes it's like, oh yeah, like the answer, like the funny, fun answer that I wanted is the correct one, or nope, it's not, but whatever, like that's the more fun answer to say. Yeah, so that's kind of like this is a large part of what this game is, and I don't know, like I know this is just your first kind of go at it, Locke. You haven't had too much time in it. Thus far, what's been your first impression of it?
Oh, it's just beautiful. I just can't get over the art right now. Hybrid games are tough, man. Like, I really don't like tower defense. But this would be definitely, and that's just like a personal thing, this would be more tolerable with a friend.
Yeah.
Mostly because, just like communicating, I'm like not stressed, but like it's a lot to manage, right? Like moving even just between these 3 areas. I'm stressing, boys. But with two people, you could be a little more strategic rather than like panicking. You just have to have good planning while you're doing it this way.
Yeah, and the the interesting part about this is, and it's one of those cases where I'm not sure there's a good thing or a bad thing, right? So right now you have just the 2 characters.
Yeah,
that you
I'm still early, so
there's a third that you'll get about 6 levels in, I think. And then I'm not sure when the 4th one opens up, but so there's going to be a 4th too.
is the 4th one green?
Well, right, so you've already seen some of these. So you've seen red monsters and you've seen purple monsters. That's the next character that you get is able to deal with those. I'm not sure if there's another color yet to be seen, but one thing I do know is right now managing 4 characters, and one aspect that we've seen here but I haven't talked too much about is building stuff with the materials that you collect. So as he's going around, he's like chopping up rocks and also like flower bushes and stuff. And those give him the materials to build these traps and barricades and turrets and stuff. So the other aspect of this that has seen a little bit of, but he gets introduced to more with the very next level is, so a character can fuse their stuff together. So the turrets are 2 blocks from Bart. So if he puts down like his basic defensive block and then builds on that same block again, he gets an auto turret.
Oh, I like that split screen cut.
I really, really like it. That's what I was mentioning just before the stream. Is like, holy smoke, that's a slick way to do it.
And they actually have they have 2 different ways of doing it. I believe they have it this way, or they have it where you can set it up that it does the dynamic split screen, right? So as you move away from your partner, the screen will split and move kind of around them. So yeah, the fusion that you see there is just one character making something from their own materials. The other way that they introduce is that you can then combine 2 characters' things to make something. So eventually, like the very next thing I believe that he'll get here after he completes all this is if Bart and Clue combine each one of their base things,
gotcha.
the block and the bomb, it makes a 3-way turret. So
that's smart.
It spreads, right? It's the spread shot.
That's really cool.
If you have a 3rd character and a 4th character, right? So now you're talking about, okay, so you can mix and match materials from 4 different characters to get a bunch of different things that all have different functionality. They have different colors of attack. So the other aspect of this that hasn't been, that you see with the different colored arrows, right? The blue and the yellows and stuff. Every character has their own attack, just base shooting, right? So Clue is blue, Bart is yellow. They eventually get additional weapons. Watch out for the flying guy on the left there. He's just going to go past everything. If he hasn't already. Oh, yeah. The problem with being 30 seconds behind.
It's all good. Thanks for the tip.
So, eventually, each one of the characters gets a secondary weapon that gives them a different color. So, Clue will get a bow that is red, and Bart will get a shovel that is blue. So then, not only does every character then have these 2 colors, right? And about 4 different colors, 4 different characters with 2 different colors.
Okay. Now you're talking more of a puzzly tower defender, which I am into.
And that's absolutely, well, that's why I said, like, I think you get the idea of this a little bit from the beginning, but once you get a ways in and you start to see where they're going with it, that's what it becomes. Like, I have gone through a tower defense section all the way to the end and, like, you know, lost a heart or something like that, and I've just been like, nope, I can do better because I've seen the way it goes, right? Like, I see what they do. Okay, I can figure out this puzzle, I can do it better. And sure enough, like, the next run is the perfect run. Nothing gets through. Everything, like I developed that strategy. But it's so interesting to see the way they really have, like I said, they've put these things together where as a single player it's totally doable, and it becomes about what you build where, but also who you put where. So as a mechanic, you can do like L2 or whatever on your controller.
Yep.
And leave the other person behind in a particular spot.
Yeah.
And they have automatic behavior that they'll do. So Clue will shoot at anything that comes. Bart will repair stuff. Other characters will do a different thing. So they themselves, the other characters, become all pieces of that puzzle, and the way that what their automatic behavior is. And that becomes even true even if you have a second player playing with you, right? Because this is 2-player local co-op, 4 playable characters. You have to switch between all of them. So eventually you are going to be leaving 2 of your characters in certain places. So there's a lot of puzzly elements to it, and a lot of things where it's trying to figure out how to use the resources that you get. Like, you have a very short window there.
Here you go.
60 seconds in between each wave to run around, pick up more materials, and build new structures. And there it is, yeah, the tri-shot turret.
That's cool.
So it's
All right.
it's a lot, like I said, it's one of those things, like, I think it's one of those games that if you're okay with the concept of it, like you like what you see, get through the first few levels, and by the time you hit about the 5th one, at least that was the way it was for me, like once you get into like the 5th one, that's when they start really sort of turning things up a bit, and then by the time they start introducing more characters, then it's like, okay, now I really have to be on top of stuff and think about what I'm doing and how and why. And even to the point of like, I know during this during this period of time in between each wave, when I can gather materials, like, where do I want to position my people? Well, I send one person out to go get stuff, right? So like, how can I maximize my time? So one person goes out, gathers everything up, and then I can switch to those other people and let them start building stuff while I'm gathering, right? Like, switch to them, build something, switch back to the other person, because building takes time. So it's a lot of different things happening.
I would kill for a voice actor right now.
Yeah, a little narration would be good.
I know that's extra budget, but come on. But that's me. It's just like, it's so dramatic, and I was waiting for it. Like, those drawings and paintings are so well done, and I'm like super into what they're doing with the lore. But yeah, the voice actor really lacking. I like this little Kobo robot I got. Beauty. Like, look at how good this looks.
Pretty cute.
Look at that moon, and ugh. Can I please have this as a Secret of Mana game?
Man, isn't that remake out in a few days?
Come here.
Yeah, that remake will not look anything like this, though.
It's true.
Bomb and block is a trick shot turret. Right.
Try shot.
Try
Same
shot.
hockey.
Sorry, it says try. Trick shot. That's a move I do.
That'd be even more impressive. I'd love to see a trick shot turret.
That's where you reflect it off the wall, right?
Yep. But yeah, so that's Aegis Defenders. Like I said at the beginning, $20 on PC and Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4.
Switch is a rad spot for it. Holy crap.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying playing on the PlayStation 4, but anything local co-op these days, I have to say, just like my instant gravitation is towards please put this on the Switch, because
I have two
this-
Joy-Cons.
well, I can play it anywhere with anyone, and like that's a very strong, like, you know, people always want to talk about the death of couch gaming or anything like that. Like, Nintendo said, okay, here's the solution. Why don't you just take your thing wherever you want to go, and you always have two controllers? It's like, okay, done.
I'm in.
Yep. Anybody's couch, anywhere.
Ow, that hurt me.
Wait.
Well, yeah, I think that's all we got really for this.
That's beautiful.
It does. I do want to check that out. That looks pretty sweet.
I mean, I think this is a great game. Even my my partner, she was like, "Hey, this looks really nice." And I was like, "It's local co-op, so we can play." And I was like, "Okay, I think I'd be interested in trying this." And she's usually not big into a lot of like games where it's
Stressful?
yeah. Well, and it's like you have to make decisions quickly. But she was able to see enough, like, okay, so you can pause here, so like in between each waves, you can, you know, like, you have this chance before stuff starts to actually run around, take a look at stuff. You can plan, you can strategize. So she's like, we can talk about this. I was like, yep. And then once the stuff comes, like, you know, there's going to be having to run around and do some stuff, but like at the very least we know what we're doing. And, you know, so,
No, I'm not ready.
Hold on.
You can say no.
No.
There's absolutely an option once in that dialogue before stuff starts. You can be like, hey, no, give me a minute.
Yeah, give me a minute, because I'm not done exploring.
You have to find all those relics.
Tell me about it, man.
So yeah, Aegis Defenders out now. Guts Entertainment. Humble Bundle is the publisher.
Yeah, that's it. I was curious about that. The Humble Bundle thing. It's kind of neat.
Yeah. If they open up, I can't remember when that was that they started up their own publishing.
Yeah, that makes
not
sense.
Not that long ago, but yeah.
one of the things I was thinking about when you're talking about, it kind of gets better. Interesting, because this type of game, because it's doing 2-3 different things, it has to start slow. It has to start slow, otherwise you get overwhelmed. But then people who only play for an hour are gonna be like, okay, I kind of get it, it's not really gripping me, which is too bad. But
Yeah.
Tell you to go, robot. There we go. But yeah, it's quite interesting. I like that they're trying new things. I like that they're doing different stuff. And the artist for this game, oh my goodness.
I think it's just like the developers, a 3-man team, and I really hope that this does well enough for them that they can work on like something with the same art style and maybe even the same universe. Like, I'd love to see another game set within the same world. That either, it doesn't necessarily have to be a hybrid game, but something that was like a pure platformer or something else, like, whatever they kind of wanted to do. But I definitely would like to see something more from them. So I really hope it does well enough that they can kind of explore some new ideas, because I think there's a strong foundation here.
Remember how Risk of Rain at the end of each level had that funny little sequence? Kind of not tower defense, but it was a poor little wave-based thing.
Yeah, survival, basically.
Yeah, survival base.
Yeah, Risk of Rain's a game I want to get back into.
Yeah, that's the game that anytime it comes up, I'm like, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that game was dope.
Yep. It was. Still is. What am I saying?
Still is, yeah.
Switch to your bow. Switch to your bow.
Switch to my bow. What does it do again?
Red things.
It kills red things.
Oh, gotcha. I didn't even think of that. Derp.
Yeah, color matching becomes so. We kind of touched on this a little bit, but having everything be a certain color.
Oh, you bitch.
Like with like means that it does more damage versus different colors.
You little sass.
So you can still do damage with, to like something red with a blue weapon, but it'll do less than if you have a red weapon.
I know you guys are behind in the stream, but the environment just changed.
Yep.
Yeah, we saw the ramp.
That's tricky dicky.
Yep. And I'll give you a hint. That's gonna happen a couple more times before you're-
That's okay. I can handle it.
Yeah, this is the first. This is what 1-3. Yeah, so this is the first stage where, like you said, I mean, it does have to start off slow, so they have to kind of get you used to some of these ideas. But this is the first one where it was like, okay, they mean business with this, and
Right.
like they have a very particular way that they're wanting to do this, and it means having to do some thinking about where I'm setting stuff up and why and how, because you can see the colors that are coming, right? Like, that's not the only color. Those pipes will spit out stuff that is not just red, but could be
Right.
other colors. But that means, okay, right now, I know I don't have to worry about the right side, but I do need Clue over here because she's the only thing with
It kills these red, yeah.
and that's particularly valuable because those red slime things, one of the things that they introduced, I like the way they do this, right? So the first time you saw that red slime, you opened up a door where there was an auto turret. And when you open up that door, the slime came through and it consumed the auto turret, right? There wasn't like a pause so you can watch that happen like that. It just happened.
Just did it.
Right? And so if you're thinking about that, you're saying, okay, these enemies that I haven't seen before but I've just now been introduced to do this, which means, yeah, now your auto turret there isn't doing so hot. But what that means is now I have to be very careful and look out for these guys during these phases, because anything I put in front of them that is like bark stuff is going to get
Come
eaten.
here.
And so not only does that mean that it's not going to be greatly effective against the slimes, but more importantly, I now lose defenses against whatever is coming behind the slimes. So yeah, and it only builds up from there. Like there's enemies later on that aren't as devious or like as bad, but they are major threats in a way that becomes worrying as far as like how do I deal with this,
Right.
in particular, like particularly when you don't have the right color to deal with them.
Yeah, I'm not excited about this wave one bit.
I mean, you gotta keep Clue over there because you got red stuff coming through. The yellow up top, you probably need to do Bard at some point, but depending on how stuff falls, you should be okay.
Oh God. No.
Nope. Oh, something came through.
Oh, it's terrible. It's all over.
It's upsetting. See that cute little boy getting hit by monsters.
Grandpa.
I think Clue's a girl.
No, the little robo boy in the center.
All over.
It's all over.
Oh, you dicks.
Wait, Grandpa.
Well, made it to wave 4.
Yeah, this is tricky. This is neato. Oh, don't need that. Okay.
Hold on. Grandpa. Hold on.
One suggestion I'll give you: use more spike traps.
Okay.
Early on, like for this part of it, because you don't have the colors to
Right.
deal with red efficiently, spike traps still work on them and they don't consume them. So that's like a
Good to know.
very big boost as far as all that.
Hurry up, you little. Come on, Clue.
Come here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Come here.
I'm having trouble telling him where to stay.
Wait.
Yeah, it that's the one part of this that just gets really, like, from a single player's perspective, trying to get stuff set up in a certain way. Oh, you got a red coming in on the red side.
Oh, this is all sorts of bad. Oh, my turret's the wrong way, that's why. Wonderful.
Wait. Over here.
Put Bart up there. Just put Bart up there and leave him.
Yeah, well.
Hold on. Grandpa.
Stop eating my juice. This game's so pretty.
Almost there.
Almost. Uh-oh. This... devious.
So yeah. So at this point, Clue can't be in two places at once.
No.
One thing I'll tell you with Bart is if you set up defenses and you just leave him on top of them, two things he'll do. One, he'll auto repair it. Second thing he'll do is he'll put up his hammer and he'll block stuff, which
yeah.
prohibits it from progressing too far.
Gotcha.
So he actually is a great barrier in his own right because you can just stick him.
Oh, yeah.
He'll repair it until it's down, and then he'll just block, which buys you time so that Clue can deal with whatever's on her side and then run over to his side.
Okay, well, maybe Bart needs to chill here for a second. Look. Oh, damn it. Get over here, you dick. No, no, you eat my turret, you...
Hold on.
Okay, good luck. Good luck, Grandpa. Baby girl's gonna put in work.
Oh yeah, she does. Oh, there you go. Look at that. Nicely placed bomb. Boom.
Oh, Jesus. Blue.
Oh, he is putting in work over there.
No. Oh, God. This is all bad.
We got this.
Grandpa!
Grandpa.
Maybe.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh. That was not a clean effort. Not happy with that.
Hey, guess what? You can go back. You can play that level again.
Yeah.
You can do better. And to some degree, like, you know, there's a little bit of incentive and motive because you'll get
With the bonuses.
get the bonus, but also you'll get whatever credits or whatever it is they have,
Wow.
which helps you buy stuff. So I haven't gone back and redone a level just yet, but I've been tempted to here and there, and just kind of try and get some more of the credit stuff. Bag of chips.
Bag o' chips.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's Aegis Defenders out now.
Yeah.
Player local co-op.
I'm really excited to get a friend in on this.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait to play this with
Why?
Nancy. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
Whoa, whoa.
once I like put the tip of putting Grandpa and setting him there, acting as a barrier is like essential to single player. But I think it's gonna be definitely gonna shine. This gentleman looks saucy.
Yeah. Hey.
Definitely the co-op I think will shine.
Yep. Yeah.
Ha.
Well, thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll be back next week with. I think Nick and I are going to do that. We Were Here Too,
Okay.
which is on PC. It's a puzzle game
Oh, that's right.
where one player is guiding the other player through, and so yeah, we're
I'm
gonna try.
really curious about that.
Yeah, we're interested in checking that out. We're gonna see how we can set that up with a stream. We might do one person streaming to Twitch and the other person streaming to either their
Till
own
next time.
personal Twitch
Or
account
Mixer.
or to Mixer. We haven't figured out what we want to do with that. And we'll have a full co-op review of this up
Next week? This week?
next week.
Next week, I'd say.
Next week, yeah.
Let's say next week because we just
That's it.
hammered that Monster Hunter one out.
Yeah. I'll be realistic here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll have a full co-op reviewed up next week. And yeah, I mean, stuff on the site. We put up a Monster Hunter co-op review today.
It's a good
Locke
game.
did a great job putting that together, highlighting a lot of things, especially for new players. I talked some about the co-op experience, and Mike chimes in with, "I have friends to play with in the Monster Hunter game. I'm happy."
Yeah.
So, so yeah, be sure to check that out, and we'll have a short, just little interview with a developer from Attack on Titan 2 up on the site tomorrow.
Oh, sick.
Hands-on preview of that on Wednesday.
Come back
So
soon.
be sure to check those out as well.
And Monster Hunter video review later this week.
Oh yeah. Yep.
You know, for people that can't read.
Sometimes games are best presented as a visual medium.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Jason, for joining me and
Yep.
talking us through that. I think I'm just gonna leave this music for the rest of the night. Just leave it on.
Oh, the title screen music is so good.
Oh, really? Okay, I'm gonna go to that right now. Just
Oh,
quick
yeah,
return
yeah,
the title.
Yeah,
Let's see
go
what we
to the title screen and it takes it like a little bit to kick in, but once it kicks in, it's
Here it
just
is. Guts Department. That's a good studio name.
So yeah, thanks everyone, and we'll catch you next week for We Were Here Too, and be sure to tune in on Friday with Eric and friends for their weekly stream, Falco.
Falco.
Take care.
Bye bye.